Hello guys, and let's continue our Russian economy lessons, because the cumulative effect of the Ukrainian drone sanctions, your economic sanctions, and Putin's economic mismanagement finally led to big problems inside their financial system. And you know that the problem is big because now even the pro-Kremlin economists openly announce the beginning of the biggest ever banking crisis for Russia. And they enumerate the features that prove the banking crisis is already on, despite all the efforts and warnings at the end of 2025. So according to them, for the crisis to be present in the banking system, a number of bad debts, loans which people cannot return, must exceed 10%. And in Russia, for mid and small size businesses, it is already 19%. For corporate business, 11%. So that is a lot. Also, they use a beautiful term which perhaps describes almost all the Russian population: depositors run. An amount of people who want to withdraw their money from the banking system because they feel anxious. And we all know that in 2025, people were breaking records, withdrawing trillions and trillions of rubles. And there are many other signals which prove the Russian economy is collapsing, the Russian war economy is collapsing, and now is the time to defeat them. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see Putin in The Hague, subscribe and share these videos to spread the truth, because this truth is actually very useful to know. According to the pro-Kremlin economists, the ones that usually hide the problems, the banking crisis is finally in the banking system of Russia. They did everything to prevent it back in 2025. The Kremlin sold 71% of their gold reserves, physical gold reserves, from this national wealth fund, but this did not save the situation. And according to this classical criteria of a banking crisis, it is already developing inside Russia. So first of all, people analyze the depositors run, an amount of people and funds that they want to withdraw from the banking system when they want to close their deposits or ordinary accounts, just because they don't trust the system. And we all know, with the increase of taxes, increase of prices, more and more Russians literally need more money to fulfill their daily duties. But also they feel super worried analyzing the situation in Russia, around Russia, and with the Soviet experience, when generations of Russians lost money to the banking system of the country that collapsed, they are not exaggerating. So they keep withdrawing, and despite all the efforts from big banks like VTB, Sberbank, begging their clients to stop the withdrawals, which by themselves can lead to problem in the system, they don't listen to them, especially after lots of ATMs during January started denying the operations, canceling, and people felt even more anxious. And also internet outages. Internet outages fuel this feeling of panic, and people cannot rely on online payments. That's why they want cash. But that is just one of many criteria. The second, an amount of bad loans in the system. What is that? When a person or an entrepreneur or a big company want to loan something from a bank, they take money and they cannot return them. And the amount of such bad loans is extremely big in the Russian banking system. For mid-size and small-size businesses, it is 19%, and for the corporate business, it is 11.2%. That is very much, especially taking into account that the Kremlin was pressuring banks to lower the demands, to restructure the debts, to create various comfortable environments so that companies will not go bankrupt. But once again, when all the other industries apart from the military, but now even the military one, are in stagnation, it is really difficult to preserve any normal processes in the banking system. 19% for mid and small size businesses, 11.2% for big businesses. And please remember, 10 is already considered problematic. And please remember too that this is Russia. The situation may be even worse than what we are reading right now. And forced reorganization or nationalization of banks branches, and that's exactly what we discussed recently. In 2025 alone, Russia closed 1,700 branches of different banks, including really big banks, national banks like Sberbank. It closed 900 branches during 2025, and many of them were located in remote parts of the Russian Federation where people depend on them a lot, where people rely on their services, and once again in times of this very turbulent internet all over the Russian Federation. So honestly, it is super important. Let's not underestimate the reports of these pro-Kremlin economists, not the Ukrainian observers, but people who are interested in the survival of this system, but observing the situation, are actually preparing the public opinion. And second, we may compare banking system to the blood of the economy, and the fact that such problems already shake big Russian banks from inside is only a proof that they experience way more financial problems that we can see from outside with this extremely high level of the Russian censorship. But believe me, Russia can and will be defeated, and this economy dimension may be one of the most important, because the collapse of the USSR also began from the economic sphere with the collapse of the banking system and people losing their assets. That's exactly what pushes millions of Russians to withdraw trillions of rubles from the system, and thus again speed up the collapse of their own economy and very likely the collapse of the Kremlin regime. And people like Girkin, who was once Putin's supporter and now is imprisoned for his criticism of Putin's failures, now openly warn about the revolution coming. If you want to know more, watch this new video on Anna Danilchuk channel, and of course follow me on Instagram, X, Blue Sky, Threads, Discord, and follow on Substack for weekly newsletters. Thank you so much for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channels, helping me work more. You are a blessing and I'm forever grateful for these opportunities. Check the merch shop, some surprises are coming these days, and I'm always very happy to learn more about your conversations that you start wearing our sweatshirt, t-shirts. Ukraine needs your support and your attention. Thank you for that. And remember that we need to remain united. Now is not the time to appease Putin. Now is the time to defeat him. And we are working on that. United we stand. Slava Ukraini!